How's everybody doing? I'm Ryan Hollins, and we want to welcome you into the Opinionated 7-Footers Podcast. That's my dog right there, none other than the big 7'1" out of North Carolina, the big man, Brendan Haywood, coming in at a whopping 299 pounds. Brendan Haywood.
Hey, yo, first off, I done slimmed down about 20 pounds and got sexy in this pandemic, so I ain't 299 now. Don't do your boy like that.
Hey, man, what enough about you, man. I got my dog, former teammate, and honestly, one of my favorite hoopers of all time, the legend, 19-year pro, 10-time All-Star, world champ, LA. Oh, Paul the Truth Pierce. P, what's going on, dog?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Oh man, we got the king of trash talk in the house. This dude's trash talk was so offensive and filthy. I can't wait to get into this podcast.
Hey, P, well, we always like to timeline our guests on who made you who. And I done told the story 1,000 times, man, of me in the backyard playing one-on-one with my pops, getting knocked into the bushes. And
I'm tired of hearing about that bush. I'm not gonna lie. This is the 13th episode. I'm tired of that same story.
But running the streets of Pasadena, but honestly, my dad helped. He molded me into the man that I am today. And I think about the type of player I am, hard worker and hard nosed. That's who I was. But who made Paul Pierce, dog? Like, when was there a moment where P was going on the wrong path, that wasn't really in the hoop, and somebody really helped teach you how to be the player you became, man?
You know what? That's a good one, man. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I was born in Oakland, first of all. And I moved to L.A. when I was 8 years old. I wasn't even really into basketball until I got to L.A. So I started getting in the hoop around 11 years old. And I moved to Inglewood, and I grew up around Rogers Park, Darby Park. And I'm going to say, you know, all my friends hooped. I was into baseball, football. And so all my friends hooped, man. So, you know, I started getting into basketball, you know, going to these parks that was kind of like really gang infested, you know, with my friends. And all the gangsters, they all play hoop. And so, you know, with playing with them, it was like being a youngin', you ain't getting no calls. So you ain't getting no damn calls. So it was just like me, you know, I'm in the 7th grade playing with grown men. You know, it ain't, you get fouled, you get butchered, you might as well just run back. And, you know, growing up in Inglewood, I played, one of the things, I'm going to tell you this, I tell this story all the time. It's this park in Inglewood, it's in the cut, called Ash Park.
Right. And
so I lived in these apartments, and I used to go there like every Saturday, and all that was up there was Mexicans, right? And so that's all that was up there, and they used to play ball. And so I started playing with them, and all they did was foul. I was like, man.
Hold on, so you the only black kid on the court?
I was the only black kid on the court. I'm telling you, playing against all Mexicans, and I was like, you know, but they was my peeps. And so I was go up there and get fouled, and that got me tough. I said, I'm going to just go up here every Saturday. You know, they really don't know how to play basketball. They just out here getting a workout, hooping. And I was like, damn, when I look back at all that kind of like molded me into this, like, you know, just grinded out type of player, man, going through the hood, playing against the gangsters who ain't gonna give you no calls. And I just remember one day, I was sitting at Rogers, and it's this OG at Rogers named Lusky, right? Everybody in the wood know him. And I'm sitting on the sideline, Lusky out here, he getting fried. Somebody just cooking him. And I start laughing. And he come up to me and said, "Blood, what you laughing at?" And I was just like, what? He was like, I sat back like he was an OG, he was swole too. And I was like, man, I wasn't laughing at nothing. He said, you lucky you go to Inglewood, or I was gonna whoop your ass. And I was like, ooh, you know what? I better get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Because I might have these type of confrontations coming up. So I had to get my shit together. I had to have my hands ready and my hoop game ready.
And you're talking about getting your hoop game ready. Ever since I remember watching you, your game was advanced and developed. I remember when you were at Kansas, I was at Carolina, and I was sitting around my point guard, Ed Cole, and we were talking about like, yo, like who some of the best dudes in the nation are. And so he was talking about your game. I was like, yo, I got Vince over Paul. And Ed was like, yo, I won't say this to V. I said, but that's the dude. I said, why? I said, I was talking about all the athletic stuff that Vince could do. Yeah. He's like, because he can get all those points without the athleticism. Like Ed was always thinking the game. That's why he was our point guard. I'm in school my freshman year. I'm 17. Like, yo, Vince doing all the dunks. He was like, nah, that dude right there. Just watch how he getting it. So even at Kansas, you were getting buckets off the strength of jabs, steps, fadeaway, step backs. Those games weren't that complete. Your game has always been complete. Now, you say you honed your game in the hood, but how did you learn the skill level like that?
No, really, Roy Williams taught me the game, man. I was raw as a high school player. I had a coach named Patrick Roy, who really pushed me in my mental. But, like, where I learned the game at, I learned the team game. Because, like, when you're in high school, you become All-American, you the man. You kind of do what you want. But when you get to college and you got other really good players, you learn the game. And, Roy Williams really taught me the fundamentals of the game. I would come early, stay late. I'd come to the gym with the lights out, only the light shining through the windows of the Allen Fieldhouse. But that's where I really learned the game. He's a real educator of basketball, man. I didn't have, I had some type of fundamentals, but he really taught me the game, the ins and out of it. He being a guy, he coached Michael Jordan, and I was like, like you said, I didn't have the great athleticism. I had a little athleticism, above average athleticism, but I just learned the game from just picking the minds of a guy like Roy Williams, man, who's a brilliant coach, one of the best coaches I ever played.
Was there a
shout out Coach Williams?
Facts. Okay, my bad, Caroline. I see Caroline.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all in the family. Kansas is like our cousins.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
P, for one, you got to keep it a buck with me, dog, because when I went from Dina to UCLA, it was culture shock. I'm like, I hadn't seen this many type of people before in my life. I had to learn how to speak.
What type of people you talking about, Ryan?
I'm gonna tell you that's like, I'm gonna keep it on real.
Real.
When I got to Kansas, that was a super culture shock for me coming from Inglewood. I grew up around all blacks and Mexicans, and like to be around so many different white people, I didn't even know the language. Like I would, we talk a different language, and so I had to learn to talk different. That's the real facts. Like, I'm talking to my teammates, I'm talking to people on campus, and we talk with a certain slang coming out of high school, and they didn't even understand what I was talking about. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy when I think about that. Like, I had to really learn the language, being around all type of cultures, because I didn't know no other culture outside black and Mexican. It was only one white guy that went to my school.
Man.
At Inglewood High.
And obviously you had a great career at Kansas. You killed it at Kansas. But I want to ask you about the draft process, because you slip a little bit in the draft. There were some rumors you weren't in the best shape. What happened with that? Did you just figure I'm going top 5, so I'm not working out? Was this a myth? What happened? Why did you slide in the draft? Because there's a lot of GMs that realized they made a mistake.
You know what? That was all a rumor. I had great workouts. I'm gonna tell you what happened and the ins and out of this. See, I was supposed to go number 2 to the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Oof.
And that day, I believe that David Falk pulled a power move in the draft, because the draft was in Vancouver. He pulled a power move. He went up to the GM. I forgot who the GM was at the time, but it was in Vancouver. And he went up to their office and told them they was going to pick Mike Bibby at number 2 instead of me. And that caused like a domino effect. So like when I didn't get picked top 2, it was just like, what's wrong with Paul Pierce? Because I had great workouts. I worked out for the top 5 teams. I was ready. I was ready for that. So it wasn't never going to be a question of my work ethic. I always my whole game was built on my work ethic. So I think some power moves was made, and after the top 5, at the draft they make promises to people,
right?
So guys already slotted, like Antoine Jameson. They was already slotted, and they was already got promises. So it was just like, it was like a domino effect. And then I was just like, after I'd only worked out for the top 5 teams. So after the top 5 teams, I was like, shit. I didn't know where I was going. So I was sitting there like, damn, I don't even know. I ain't even talked to none of these other GMs or any of these coaches past the top 5. Maybe I go to Philly, Larry Brown. It's the Kansas Connect. I don't know. So it just was like, then when I ended up with the Celtics, I was like, what? That came straight out of left field for me. I was just like, it had nothing to do with my work. It just sometimes that's the way it go, man. But you know what? It made me better. It made me, that's how it's always been for me. It made me stronger. I'm like happy that it went that way.
Real quick, let me ask you then. Where were you for the draft? How did that go? Because listen, dog, obviously
he's at the draft.
No, what I'm saying is I'm no Paul Pierce. I went 50th. Brendan Haywood don't want to hear it, but I had promises too. I had some first round promises. Things didn't work out, big
They
fella.
lied to you, boy.
It didn't work out. But I remember sitting there at the little draft party. You know, I wasn't in New York, obviously, but dog, it was driving me crazy. Like I had a hit list. Like, oh, him, okay. Him? Okay. Like, exactly. I was sick, bro. Like, what was it like watching? P, I know how you are, dog. What was it, a young Paul Pierce coming out? Because I know you felt some type of way, dog.
I definitely felt some type of way. If you watch my draft interview, I remember saying something like, you know what, those other 9 teams that passed on me, this is right when I get drafted. They gonna wish they had drafted me, something like that. I said it right there. Dang. Because I had so much confidence in how hard I worked that I knew I wasn't gonna disappoint. So that's why I was up there as a drafty, like, look, those other 9 teams, they're gonna pay for not drafting me. Straight up. I was upset. I was pissed.
That's
how I was pissed. And you know what I did? All my workouts, I wrote down, I would go work out and I'll take 10 shots from each spot. So I'm naming all the teams, I'm naming all the players ahead of me. Mike Bibby, Ray Preference, Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter, Jason Williams, Robert Traylor, Dirk Nowitzki, Larry Hughes. I mean, I still know them in order to this day.
Ooh. That's that chip on the shoulder, man. That's that chip right there.
Every day.
Hey, Paul, I couldn't take 50 shots, dog. I had 49 ahead of me. That would have been a little too long, dog. I don't know if I could have got that one.
But Paul, now you're in the league. You're with Boston. Walk me through your rookie year. Like when you came in, was off the jump, you had a lot of success. Did you think the league was easy? Did you know right away you belong? Was there a specific game where you were like, yo, these dudes really, I can really play with these dudes? Like, what was that like?
I think because I came in on the lockout season, I was like, it started off in our scrimmages. Like I remember our first scrimmage before we even played a game. I get there, I'm with Antoine Walker, Kenny Anderson, Ron Mercer, and I'm already kind of heated that I'm getting 10th, and I'm Celtics. I hated the Celtics, dude. I grew up with a Laker fan, and so I got drafted by the Celtics, and I'm like, whatever. I'm in the league. I'm going to make the most of it. I got practice. It came Antoine, he talking shit. He like, man, this little old rookie, he talking shit. Antoine, big shit talking. I'm like, oh, man. And so I'm talking back to him like, you know what? This my shit. I'm like, as a
whoa.
So
hold on, this is the first day. Is this
here? Like, it was like, I was like, we was going at it, but they was going to respect me from day one. And after them scrimmages, when I think I beat them with the second team or whoever was on my squad with Antoine, Ron, and them, that's when they earned my respect. And I knew I belonged from right there. And so that's why I came out like guns blazing.
P, was there a moment, and listen, dog, we know you the truth. We know you came out guns blazing. But was there a moment, man, when you got to the league where you first realized like it was a shock? Like, dog, I remember Marvin Williams, true story. I was one of my first games playing. They hit Marvin Williams on a slip, and I felt like it was in slow motion. And next thing I know, Marvin Williams cocking the ball back, and he didn't bang on me, but I'm literally stuck looking like, did you have a moment early in the league like, okay, like this ain't college, dog, like this different?
I'll tell you one thing. All right, this is true. Like, so I remember one game I go baseline. We playing against I think maybe the Wizards. I think Charles Oakley was on the Wizards.
Ooh.
And Charles Oakley got a reputation. So I'm knowing that coming in. So I remember I go baseline and Charles Oakley right there. And I'm like, all right, I'm about to go up hard on him. And he jabbed at me like he was about to foul the shit out of me. And man, I'm telling you, I go up, he jabbed at me and get out the way, and I go up, and I got so shook of the jab trying to take a hit, he got out of the way, and I threw the shit all under the backboard. Like, it was like the most embarrassing play. It looked like I was just scared anyway. I was just like, man. it just shook me, and I was like, you know what? I can't be no little punk, regardless if it's Charles Oakley. But I threw the ball up under the backboard, and he just got out. He olayed me, really. But I got so shook that I just threw it out of bounds. It was crazy.
Man, I
But
can't.
but the ooh wee moment where it was just like, damn, was Grant Hill, dog. Grant Hill gave it to me. I'm talking about.
That's great. G Hill was tough. That right to left crossover.
I'm talking about every time down court, he either scored, I fouled him, or he assisted somebody. I remember after the game, he had 30, 15, and 8 on me. And he just chewed me up. And I was just like, damn, and he was my idol too. But so I was trying to take the challenge, but he ate me up. And I was just like, man, he had me losing confidence for one day. I was like, man, do I even belong here? Can I even win? Damn. It was crazy. I could not stop him whatsoever. It was crazy.
Man, G Hill before a lot of people forget G Hill before that ankle injury was a whole different level of problem. Yeah. And so, but speaking of a whole different level of problem, you were a problem yourself. Talk about the development of your game throughout the course of the league. Because when you first came in, you were always able to score. And as I played against you more and more in your career, you got better at thinking the game, reading screen and rolls. Early on, we could trap you off the screen and kind of throw you off for a quarter or two.
Yeah.
Then by the time you got older and you got more seasoned, there's whatever we threw at you was you already had the antidote. How did your game develop like that? Was it a coach? Was it just time? And did you feel that way?
Yeah, it's all a learning process. It's like what you go through the league as players develop, as they get better, as they get older, as you watch film, as you play every day, and Doc helped me out a lot, with my game. And then you just get tired of losing, man. You just tired of being a loser. You always try to find different ways to get better. And, people is like, oh, he's just a scorer. So I was like, that's not true. I want to be a better defender. I want to be a better all-around player. I want to be a better leader. I don't want to just be known for one thing. And so when you're chasing greatness, you always try to find ways to get better. And I watch film every day. I watch other players I try to emulate. Actually, Grant was one of my favorite players. Him, Steve Smith coming out, Grant Hill, those guys. I idolize them guys because we kind of played Scottie Pippen, the small forward position, the guy who can do a little bit of everything. And so, watching these guys, I was able to just, tone my game and develop it as years passed on. And so, it's all a learning curve, though. As you get older, you just try different ways to try to get better.
Now, P, you went through some years with the Celtics, man, where everybody had to give you your respect, but you never won. And every player gets to that moment, but it was you, it was KG, and Ray. Talk to me about how that came together, because was this a summertime talk? Was it in the works? Was it hey, man, we don't know how much time we got left. We got to make a run because, you talk about big threes joining, that was a legit big three. We try to name other big threes. They ain't other big threes. So talk to me about that process. And was this a summertime deal? Hey, man, let's do it.
I'm going to tell you, people think we, manufactured that. That just came together. It was, the right time and the right place. So check this out. The year before, we had one of our worst seasons. I break my foot. I had a fracture in my foot. I missed a number of games. And we went on I remember we went on an 18, 19-game losing streak when I was out. And so I was just like, damn. I'm telling management, I'm telling owners, we that far away. If I sit out and we lose 18 in a row, I'm like, we farther than we think. I feel like I'm in the middle of my prime. I'm in my, I think 7th or 8th year, my 9th year in the league. And I'm like.
Who'd you talk to in management? Who'd you talk to?
Danny Ainge, you had Steve Paliuka, Wick Grossbeck, them as the owners. We had meetings upstairs. And it got to the point where it was just like, man, I think, you might have to trade me. Because look, we had some young guys. I didn't ever bring my stuff out in the public, but we had these meetings, And, we had young Al Jefferson, young Kendrick Perkins. We had rookie Rondo that year when we lost our Tony Allen, Delonte West. We had some nice young guys. And then this is the year Kevin Durant was coming into the league. And I was just like, shit, y'all should just draft Kevin Durant, build around him and Al Jefferson and Perk. Y'all got something. They all around the same age because I'm like in my 9th year, and I'm like, I'm going to win now. So I'm looking at the best opportunity. Where can I go right now and win? I'm looking at places like Dallas. I really wanted to go to Dallas.
To play with Dirk?
To play with Dirk at the time because I know they was a contender. Crazy. And I felt like that's all they needed over there. That's all they needed. He needed one more player like me, And so I was
how close were those talks to happening, Pete?
The talks was made, but, I don't think the Celtics wanted to do it. They wanted to see how the draft went first. And they were just like, but Danny Ainge, he was just like, you know what? We want to build around you. He gave me reassurance because I said, look, I don't want to rebuild in my 9th year. Get this. I'm done. I'm in my 9th year. How many more years I got?
Right.
And he said, you know what, we're going to try to build around you. We're going to use this draft to try to make something happen. So I'm thinking we're going to get the number 1 pick. We got the worst record. We didn't get the number 1 pick. We get the 5th pick. And I'm like, oh, man, what are we going to do with the 5th pick? How are we going to manufacture that into something? At least with the first pick, you could be like, but you know what? We end up, when I knew that I wasn't going to get traded, is when we traded that 5th pick for Ray Allen. We immediately traded that pick for Ray Allen. So I was like, oh, okay. We traded for Ray Allen. But look, when people didn't know the trade, so me and him talked about it, it was either going to get Ray Allen or Sean Marion. That was the 2 choices.
Ooh.
We could have had Sean Marion, but it was like, I was like, nah, Sean Marion, we kind of too much alike. We play the same position. Ray is more dynamic, and we fit together, And so I was like, we need to get Ray. And then, so now it's like, okay, we got Ray. And I didn't even know Kevin Garnett was in the picture at first. Like, just getting Ray, I was happy with just that because I knew they wasn't going to trade me. So now the rumor is like, okay, we could trade KG. We could trade Al Jefferson, some of our young guys, and some picks to get KG. And I'm like, oh, really? That's a no-brainer. But KG got a trade clause. And so the thing was convincing him to want to come to Boston.
Oh, he didn't want to come? Woo!
He was so loyal to Minnesota to like a fault. And I told him, like, dude, y'all not going nowhere fast, dude. Because he had Phoenix that wanted him that year. What people don't know, he almost went to Phoenix and he almost went to the Lakers.
Ooh.
So we was like.
You had to get on the phone and convince him. You're calling him.
I talked to him. It took a lot of phone conversations. From me, Chauncey Billups, Ty Lue. Luckily, I'm cool with Ty Lue and Chauncey, so it was about, them convincing him too. And it was like his best bet is in Boston. And from there, and that was the end of the story. So it was just like, it wasn't nothing we planned, but the trade was on the table, but he had to waive his no trade clause. If he had to do it, once he did that, we home free. And so once he did that, Ray had to call him and talk to him. It was a lot of convincing.
Hey, Pete, let me ask you this real quick. Is this true? Because I heard this story as well. I heard KG call Kobe about LA, and Kobe hit him back a week later. So he was like, I'm off there.
He didn't answer.
Kobe hit. How you going to hit KG a week later?
Yeah. That's a true story, dog.
Wow. You on the phone working him, and Kobe waved it off.
Yo, Kobe chilling. He in Calabasas getting shots up.
Nah, look, he that's just. And KG ego ain't dealing with that. He like, you ain't gonna hit me. Like, what? Like, you supposed to call KG back that day.
You got to.
Come on, dog. Come on, man.
You definitely got to do that. And you guys came together, and it was special right away. I remember playing you guys early in the season. I was like, I told D Steve, I was like, yo, dog, they different. They different now. Like, just the mentality, KG there. I saw how KG made Perk different. Like, me and Perk used to talk during the game. Man, Perk hit me so hard in my chest and was talking trash. I was like, yo, fam, we work out together all summer. When they start feeding you gunpowder, man? After the game, he was like, yo, KG got us on something different. So right away, like, how was that dynamic? Did y'all all come together, just have like a leadership meeting? Because the culture shifted when it was you, KG and Ray, y'all were different than when it was just you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, KG dictated the culture. We all know that. You know,
Right.
KG came in there right away and was just like, man, all I want to do is win. You know, I've been in bad situations. And he raised the level of everybody's play. I mean, from the first day of practice, if you wasn't working your ass off, if you wasn't there getting shots up early, or you wasn't in the right spot, he was going to let you know. He was going to let everybody know. He held everybody accountable. It didn't even matter. And so now everybody was like, you know, you coming from a losing culture to now championship expectations. You got KG around here. It's just his aura, dude. I don't know how to explain it. Like when he walk into the room and he say something, it's like you gather around him like it's like kids at a campfire and you want to hear like a something like that's the type of aura like he brought. It's like, man, it's crazy. And everybody followed in. Everybody, because he was going to work too. It wasn't like he was going to spit venom and not put in the work, because he's the hardest working dude I ever been around. And so when you see a superstar at that level going as hard as he is, it make you want to run through the wall too.
Hey, P, was there a moment when obviously we know it's all lip service? We done seen big threes and all-star teams get together and it don't work out, but was there a moment or a play on the court where you was like, dog, this is different, or like, yo, like Ticket made a play, like, you know, just crazy, where you was like, yo, like, I ain't never seen nothing like him or Ray or something?
Man, I'm telling you, it was different because, like, me being the man all them years in Boston, like, having to take the game winners, like, to have another guy like Ray, I'm not going to even lie, dude. He is the most clutch player I've ever played with. I'm saying, like, dude, the big shots he hit in moments where I didn't have to have that pressure. You know, I had that pressure having to do that my whole career. Now I had another guy that can do it. That was there
a game? What was the first game you saw that?
The first game was at Toronto on the road. I think he had a game winner from the corner. And then in Charlotte, he hit a game winner at the – I mean, he got countless game winners with us. It was a game with Charlotte where we were down 1. Charlotte had the ball with 5 seconds to go.
Damn it, I was on the team, dog. Yes, we had y'all beat.
That was one of them. Remember
we had y'all beat, dog. Yes, I remember. Yes, we had y'all beat. I remember, dog. We were sick. We were ready to celebrate.
God.
We were sick, dog.
Oh my God.
Bam,
How
yes.
sick was
yes.
that?
What happened?
So I get the shot and I miss the shot for the win. So we down 2, Charlotte has the ball. Up 1, and they're in the penalty. All they got to do is get the ball in and foul. And we foul. They throw it in somehow. Eddie House hits the ball. It flies in the air. Somehow I jump up and grab it, and in the same motion, I throw it to Ray with like 1 second to go, and he knocks it down at the buzzer. And I'm like, oh, my God. It's like no way we're supposed to win that game. All they have to do is get the ball in bounds.
That's all. It was Raymond Felton. Yep. Yeah, Felton. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Hey, man, don't blame that on my UNC brother like that. Don't do that, Ron. Don't do that.
He tricked off that. He tricked off that season, though. Yes, I completely forgot about that.
But just not having the pressure of doing everything. You know, I was our leading scorer, our leading rebounder, leading steals, and then, like, you know, have KG and Ray there. It just took so much pressure off of me. I didn't feel like the need to go out and have to have 30. And just, we enjoyed playing with each other. We didn't even care about statistics. We was happy that if we had, like, if I ended up with, like, 8 points, 5 rebounds, and we won by 30, I'm like, cool, I'm chilling tonight. I'm chilling in the fourth quarter. I got dinner plans. I'm chilling. You know, that's our type of team that was.
P, what about with KG? I'm sorry, B. What about with KG? Was there a moment, like, because you never played with a dominant big, like y'all would outscore people in Boston, but it wasn't the defensive end wasn't there. Was there a game or like a moment where like KG went head to head with Shaq or Tim Duncan, and you was like, dawg, I've never had this?
Man, I remember this one play. He went down middle one day on Milwaukee. He dunked so hard on Andrew Bogut. He dunked. I'm talking about, you know, if KG dunked hard, he gonna try to tear the rim off. He dunked so hard on Andrew Bogut. And then after he dunked on him, he came down and just elbowed him in the chest. I was like, what the what the fuck? What is, like, dude, you just humiliated him by dunking on him, and then you elbowed him in the chest. I said, dog, I was like, ooh, just to play with another dog. And then after the game, I was like, Ticket. I said, check this out, homie. That dunk was fierce. But if you ever did that to me, we would fight, homie. Like, straight up, dog. We will fight. If you dunk on me and then you elbow me in the chest, we gonna fight, dog. It was so humiliating, but he did that all the time, dog. That was just the intimidation factor he always brought to people. And I was like, ooh, I loved it. And I fed off of it, too.
Man, yeah, Ticket was just wired different, man. I'd be trying to guard him. He'd be talking junk about me to himself in the third person. And
yeah.
He can't guard you, KG. He ain't big enough, KG. I'd be like, yo, fam, I'm right here. Like, that's disrespectful. But, hey, now that we're talking about the junk talk, I got to get to your smack talk. Because, like, everybody talks about Larry Bird's smack talk back in the day and Michael Jordan. But, dog, you had some of the most disrespectful, like, just, and you weren't cursing, you weren't just talking down. You would just say something real slick that would hit you in your soul. I remember being in DC, and my young fella, Andre Blatch, said something to you. You turned around, looked this man dead in his eyeballs and said, listen, dog, I'm going to need you to turn around so I see the name on the back of the jersey so I at least know who I'm talking to. Like, fam, that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever been a part of. I didn't want to laugh because that's my dog. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to use that one.
I remember that.
Dog,
I remember that. Blatch was talking. I was like, who is this guy? Like, he was at the free throw line. I said, man, turn around. Let me see your name. I don't even know your name, dog.
Dog, like, where did you come up? Where did you come up with this? Just from going against Antoine Walker? Was this who you've always been from the courts in Oakland and LA? Like, your trash talk was legendary.
This is kind of like what I grew up into, playing at Rogers, Darby, playing in the streets, and then Antoine, being around Antoine just took it to another level, man. I'm telling you, because Antoine was big shit talk. The funniest thing, when the first time, I remember first practice with Antoine, we were scrimmaging, and the ball got swung to the corner wide open. And I'm running to the corner to try to contest. He's like, no, he with us. I was like, what? You know, that's when I first heard that he with us. Like, don't challenge the shot. He with us because he gonna brick anyway. I was like, oh, that's cold.
Hey, yo, what's crazy is I remember every time playing against y'all whole bench would yell that. He with us. If somebody would be shooting, the whole bench would yell, he with us.
Right. That's where I got that from, man. That was like the funniest trash talk I heard at the time.
Dog, when I got to Boston, true story, I was like appalled in the locker room, but I got a certain confidence because I remember we were having a conversation and we were playing the Wizards, and I'm like, man, John Wall is a headache, man. Like he about to kill us, or like, how we gonna guard him, man? Like, cause I've been on losing teams, so I'm like, man, this is about to be tough. He was like, man, he trash. We about to run through them. I'm like,
oh, God, you can't talk about John Wall like that.
Yeah. Yo, I'm like, what? He was like, dog, we about to run through them. And, dog, I had never seen, keep in mind, John is younger at the time. Brad, there's all respect for them. But, like, the confidence you had, like, I lost my mind. I was like, oh, we go. And then we literally beat them by 20 or 30 that night. So I'm sitting back bugging like, dog, like, I've never seen nothing like that in the league. So I think it's wild to hear. But P, I got to rewind because I think your biggest trash talk moment was winning the championship against the Lakers. That rivalry. Run me through that rivalry with Kobe. And you brought it out a little earlier. Did it start with him not calling Ticket back? Because it was a real beef. And this was this was 80s basketball reincarnated, Lakers, Celtics. I remember like talk to me about that. And like you didn't just play against Kobe, you challenged him.
No, but that's what gave me my edge. I felt like, no matter, I never cared what people said about me or my game. I approached every night like I was the best player in the world, like regardless. And that was my mentality. You know, that's why I had no fear in playing against a LeBron or Kobe Bryant or whoever I got thrown in front of me. You know, I got the mentality of like, look, if I'm going to take this ass whipping, I'm going to take it and I'm going to come back tomorrow. You know, that's like, you know, my mama, like, if I got beat up and my mom, I come in crying, she'd be like, you better go out there and fight again. And so, you know, like, if I'm going to guard LeBron and he going to give me 40 or 50, I'm going to take them lumps. If I'm going to guard Kobe, he going to give me I'm going to take those lumps. But you know what? I'm going to come back the very next day and you have to do this every night until I get mine. You know, and that's the mentality I have. And I don't see that in today's game. You know, people don't challenge each other. As the stars don't guard the stars, it's like they scared. They scared to do it on both ends. And I'm like, you know, what's that all about, man? If you play this position and y'all play the same position, y'all got to guard each other. You the star, guard the star. That's what everybody want to see. And if you get hit up, you get on sports shit and getting killed, then that's it. So take it and move on. Take it and move on. And that was my mentality when going against all of them guys. And it was just like I wanted to go against the best. Straight up.
Was there a iconic moment or play where, like, you know, seeing Kobe in the regular season was one thing, but this was your first NBA Finals, P. Was there a play where you was like reading the scouting report, like, yo, Kobe is different, dog, or like what we gonna do with this dude? Like, what was that? And Tony Allen was a dog. So talk to me about that, like that matchup. My bad, B. I want you to follow up, but what was that like? Yo, like this is the Mamba, dog.
I mean, I was never in awe of nobody. You know, I realized it was Mamba. Yeah, I knew that when he scored 81 in the game. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand he's the league MVP this year. Yeah, I understand that too. But I was never in awe of none of that. Like I said, I mean, yeah, I respected it. Yeah, he deserved everything he got.
Right.
But I was just like, well, you know, whatever you did before, that's not happening this time. You know, that's just how it was. And then when you got KG right there, you got to understand, when you look at that team, we had all dogs. We didn't give a damn about who we stepped out there with. Think about this. Rondo, he ain't taking no shit.
Dog.
Perk, he ain't taking no shit.
Dog.
KG, he ain't taking no shit. Big Baby, he ain't taking no shit.
Dog.
Leon Poe, he ain't taking no shit.
Dog.
Tony Allen. Like, think about it. We had a team full of
Posey.
Posey. Eddie House. Come on, man. Think about the mentality of that team. Like, you know what Kobe said after? Oh, you know what? You know, it was one of my friends. He said, watching that Lakers series, you know what he said? He said it looked like the city versus the suburbs versus that. Like, and that's how our mentality was, because we was the best defensive team. We was mean, and we took the game to the streets, and we was too physical for them. You know, Perk and KG was too physical for Gasol, and the only dog they had on the Lakers was Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher. That's it. And the rest of them, we was like, no problem.
And you and Kobe, y'all had y'all battles, and listen, they were intriguing to watch. But I think you would be the perfect person to ask this question to, because you've also had some battles with LeBron James and some great games. He had some great games. You had some great games.
Yeah.
Which one of these two guys was the hardest to guard, in your opinion?
Man. People ask me this, but I'm gonna say LeBron, man. LeBron. I guess because I had to go through so many series of guarding him. And, you know, I didn't guard Kobe as much as I had to guard LeBron. It's just how the physicality of LeBron, and when he catches fire, you know, when he put that game on us, that game 6 on us in Boston, we was up 3-2 when he just went ultra nuclear Thor Superman on us. That's when I was like, okay, that's different. That's different than anything I ever seen. You know, LeBron he played out of his mind. But I guess maybe because it was more matchups with him and just how big and how he can beat you in so many different ways with his passing, with his IQ, with his scoring. You know, not a natural born scorer, but then he ends up with 45.
Right.
You know, it's just, you know, and there's so many things he can do on the court. Probably one of the smartest, most intelligent players I ever played against on the court.
AP, let me rewind that, man, because I know you're giving me the nice version, and obviously all due to respect to LeBron. That's why I tell people in the locker room after he did that to us, me, you, KG, everybody was like, you got to respect the way he did it. We didn't think he was.
Yeah.
But hold on. Let me rewind this. People notice we were banking on beating them and getting to a close game, and we were like, they don't grind like us. They don't grind like us. They don't work like this. And
what year was that?
I forget the year, but in our mind, when we were playing LeBron, as you brought it up, we were like, we're going to get into a close game, and we had the experience. P is going to bring us home. Tig is going to bring us home. Ray going to bring us home. If we can guard D-Wade, LeBron is not going to hurt us, and darn well he showed us.
Man, boy, was y'all wrong. Woo.
You know what? I truly believe that game, I truly believe this with all my heart. That game, we built LeBron into that.
Facts.
Because before that, he was not that. Before that, he was not
damn sure
that.
wasn't that in 2011.
Facts.
And it's similar to like what the Detroit Pistons did to Michael Jordan.
Right.
They made Michael Jordan into what he became. And I truly believe we made LeBron into what he is now.
I can roll with that.
And that game was the birth of like who LeBron is now.
Facts.
I truly believe that.
I definitely.
AP, and okay, let me ask it with you and LeBron had a beef, a little bit of a beef. Look, Perk said y'all had a little rumble in the jungle in the his first preseason, and I'm gonna throw this out. I want you to answer it because I gave my take. When you said that LeBron is not top 5 all time, I was like, y'all gotta understand when Paul comes on TV, Paul is a competitor, and Paul done thrown some blows to LeBron. So when Paul says something about Bron, you got to understand Paul holds his own weight too. The same way when Isaiah looks at Michael, he like, dog, we whoop Michael. Like I had more problems with Magic and Bird. So talk to me about the little beef at that time. I know y'all good now, or it is what it is. Y'all good now, but talk to me about how that started. And like, you're not gonna back down from this king, this young before he became from this king.
I wouldn't even like call it a beef, man. I'm just a competitive person. That's all it is. From day one, they was crowning this rookie, and I was just like, how he get a crown? He ain't really did nothing in the league. He's a rookie, so I was just like, we're in a preseason game, and he already a king. I'm like, what? Like, where they do that at? I ain't never been I ain't never had no just beef with LeBron. I just think people that's been manufactured because of all of our matchups, and I felt like we really brought out the best in each other. I mean, if you see some of the numbers he put up against me, and then you see some of the numbers I put up against him, we brought out the best in each other. I didn't have a 50-point game. My career high was versus LeBron. And that's just what it was. And when you see him, when he talked about who was one of his biggest rivals, he said it was me. In the press conference. And so we just brought out the best in each other, and it made it look that way. Do I respect LeBron? Do I think he's going to have a chance to be in the top 5 all time? Absolutely. Ooh. But, you got to say,
oh. So who's your top 5? Who's your top 5? Who's your top 5?
All right, so listen, this has been my top 5. I have Jordan, Kareem.
Okay.
I have Russell.
Okay.
I have Magic, and I put Kobe in there.
Oh.
And the reason I put Kobe in there is those last 2 championships he got was like, come on, without Shaq, that elevate him. Yeah, he don't have the MVPs LeBron got, but he got the chips. And all them, when people say, how is LeBron not top 5? I'm like, look at the guys who I got in the top 5. And you can argue that Shaq is in there. But, okay, the GOAT is the GOAT. But
say that again for Ryan to hear. Say that again, Paul.
The GOAT is the GOAT.
The GOAT is who? MJ?
MJ.
Thank you.
MJ's the GOAT. And so now when I say Kareem got 5 titles, 6 MVPs, 19 All-Star game appearances.
Kareem got 6 titles. He got 1 in Milwaukee.
That's what I'm saying. He got 6 titles, 5 or 6 MVPs, 19 All-Star game appearances. When we talk about a resume, and I stack LeBron's up against some of these other guys' resume, yeah, LeBron's going to have the numbers. But these guys got more trophies. Like, how hard is it to win a trophy in the league?
Very.
You know, you play AAU, you play college, you have your banquets. When you get to the league, they don't give away trophies. Like, okay, LeBron got 4 MVP, that's 4 trophies. Okay, he has, 4 All-Star Game MVPs? Okay, that's 8 trophies. He got 11 trophies.
Ooh.
Okay. Kareem got 6, 5, that's 12. He got about 15 trophies. Like, Russell got 11 just rings alone. And do you know that Russell has 6 MVPs also? MVPs of the league? That's 17 trophies. Like, come on, man. These guys' resumes are like, how could you argue? Like, how could you argue? It's debatable. It's debatable, but that's just who I got. Now, can he, like, if he wins this year with the Lakers, okay, I'll squeeze him in my top 5. But we talking about all time. And then this is the other thing. How did these other guys get their titles? Jordan built the Bulls up, right? Magic and Kareem, they built that up. Russell built up the Celtics. Kobe did it on his own without Shaq. You know, when I seen Bron go to Miami and bring Bosh with him, it was manufactured. Like, let's put this team together. All right, let me go back to Cleveland. I'm going to play with Kyrie, but bring Love over here. You know, like, these other teams built from the ground up. They didn't just say, all right, they didn't handpick who they wanted to do it and felt like they could do it with. And so that's why I put those guys ahead of them.
Hey, Paul, it's interesting you said that because I actually feel differently about that. Do you feel that LeBron actually helped the game by manufacturing that? Because now the stars like you and Bron, those guys, they have more power than ever because they can help manufacture their own rosters. Because think about early in your career, you were stuck in Boston with no help, but you had a great GM. Some of these dudes don't have Danny Ainge. They got, you know, I don't want to name no bad GM, but they got who they got, and they stuck. Do you think that the fact that Bron did that, he made it so that Kevin Durant could go to Golden State? He made it so that Kawhi could go to the Clippers.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he did. He did set a trend. But the OGs ain't respecting that. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, yeah, he did that. Like, how you gonna respect that? Like, everybody, how many people was mad when Kevin Durant went to Golden State? How many people was like, oh, man, come on, man. Like, seriously? You going to a 73-win team? Like, it's hard to respect that because the OGs did it a different way. Yeah, I had Kevin, I had Ray, but I didn't say I want Kevin like that. They made the trades. We did it the old-fashioned way. But when you have like, all right, we gonna free agent up, y'all. We're going to do sign these short contracts, and then we're going to play together. You know, like, come on. That's like, to me, a superstars, they find a way. They find a way.
Let me ask you something, P, because I know we never talked about it, but I kind of saw it coming because I was the new guy on the team. I was cool with everybody. So me and Ray would talk, me and Ticker would talk, me and you would talk. You put the battery in my back, dog. You was like, hey, I need summertime men's gym, Ryan Hollins, okay? I need you dunking everything, big fella. You had me going, you know what I'm saying? And I got to thank you, too, because people don't know this. It was me, you, and Ticket playing at 360 Gym out in the Valley. And, man, I'm going hard as heck. We always played at UCLA. You always showed me love. But that summer, you was like, hey, we about to bring you on board. I was like, what? What's your contract like? I'm like, I'm under contract with the Cavaliers. He was like, nah, you with us. I was like, shoot, let's rock. And it happened. I got to thank you for my family, bro, for that because I learned basketball. That was my first NBA experience. But I want to come back to Ray. When Ray joined the Heat the next year, how did you feel about that? Because I saw it coming because he was injured. He felt like he had more to offer to us, but he was getting pushed to the side for Avery because Avery was defending better. He was hitting corner threes, and then he kind of up and bounced, and it was a weird feeling. And then to the team we just lost to, you talked about Kevin Durant going and joining the team that just beat him. How did you feel personally, or what kind of went on with that? Because you've always been behind the scenes of, you know, what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I think all of us felt betrayed, especially me and Kevin, and you know, because I didn't really see it coming. You know, I expected Ray to be back with us to ride this out. You know, we was all gonna ride it out together. And I felt betrayed because all of a sudden it was just like, you know, it was like almost like, you know, they was like our rivals. You know, like LeBron was our rival. It wasn't about Cleveland or Miami, but LeBron was our rival. So Cleveland was our rival, then he goes to Miami. We lose to them, and then it's like, man, how you gonna sign for Miami? But you don't even understand. He signed for Miami for less than we was gonna give him. So and then the whole thing out, we formed a brotherhood. You know, our families hung out together. You know, we did Halloween, we did dinners, we did all our family, our kids. You know, and it was just like when he did that signing, I didn't get a call like, you know, even like talk to about it. Like, hey P, I think as a respect for a brother, you just be like, hey P, you know, you know, things ain't going well in Boston. I think, you know, I'm gonna make a move. You know, this is what's best for me and my family. You know, it was love. I had a good time playing with y'all, but this is what I feel is good. I just felt like I should have got a call. Right. Like as a brother, as a family member, like, you know, it don't matter where you went. You know, you can go where you want to go. Yeah, you went to Miami. But like, can you get a brother a call? Like somebody who you won with, somebody you've been through the trenches with. You know, I just thought I earned that respect right there. And when I didn't get that, and I don't know if Kevin got that, I just felt it was betrayal. And I was just like, and I was salty for a long time.
Have you talked to Ray since? Y'all had a chance to hash it out and talk it off?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Ray talked. We kind of hashed our things out as men a few years ago. Actually, we met in China. It was just the craziest thing. We both did this event in China. And, you know, he was in the locker room next to me. He had his own locker room. We supposed to play in this charity game in China. And I just was like, man, I need to holler at Ray. And so, you know, we went and talked about it. And he understood where I came from with all of that. And, you know, from then on, it was squash, you know. And so, you know, I got nothing but love for Ray. You know, he helped me. We helped each other, you know, accomplish our goals.
Listen, you guys, it didn't end the way you guys wanted it to, but you guys had an incredible run with that big three group. Then obviously it breaks up and you go
make a fuss when I left. When I ain't come back, P.
Hey man, stop playing, man. Hey, stop playing, Ryan. I'm not even entertaining you right now. But y'all go to Brooklyn, and I thought that was gonna work too with like you, KG. It's like Joe Johnson. You got Deron Williams. Like, why didn't that team in Brooklyn play the way everybody thought it would on paper?
You know, I thought we'd be a lot better. I just think, you know, to be all honest with you, I just think Darren Williams, I thought he was ready to be an MVP type of player, you know, by going over there. You know, he was like one of the top point guards. He was like, It was him and Chris Paul.
Thanks.
And I just, my whole thinking was like, all right, he's got to be the guy for us to win. He's got to turn into an MVP level player. You know, he got some help around him. He's the guy. And I'm just not sure he was ready for that type of pressure. You know, I felt like the pressure got to him. You know, he wasn't ready to take that next step. I mean, he was good with the stats and all, but, like, I really didn't get it, man. I thought he was ready. You know, just from the outside looking in, he was the one that was going to have to take us to the next step because by that point, me and Ticket, we was like the help. You know, we was the leaders. But we needed the young guys, Joe Johnson and Darren Williams, to be the guy. And I'm not sure he was ready to do that. You know, I think it was too much pressure for him. You know, it wasn't on us at that point in our careers to go out there and carry this team. It was on them too. You know, I wanted to see Darren succeed, but I just didn't think he was ready for that, man. I think the pressure kind of got to him of playing in Brooklyn and, you know, expectations. You know, you got great players who play great, but when you get expectations, you see a difference in people, and I think that's what it was.
P, I got to throw this to you too, because when you guys joined up, Jason Kidd ends up being a coach. This is a young J Kidd. You playing against J Kidd a few years ago, so I'm almost like, is P the coach? Is Ticket the coach? Fast forward right now, Obviously, he's older. Steve Nash is now the coach in Brook. It's almost like, is this the same thing over again? They got championship hopes. People had y'all winning championships there in Brooklyn. How do you feel seeing that Brooklyn has Steve Nash, and we know the basketball mind.
Put on your analyst hat. We taking you back to your, we want you to be an analyst now. We talk about your playing days. We need analysts.
Dog. You lived the first one, dog.
Man, how do I feel about Steve Nash or which one? Jason Kidd?
Because I'm saying your experience. You saw a great basketball mind, be a former player. And I can't say that it didn't work because I wasn't in the locker room. I'm gonna ask you and what you see now today. But
I think a lot of people, let me tell you something. A lot of people is comparing this move to the Steve Kerr move. You know, they hire a guy that didn't have no coaching experience, but you gotta understand what Golden State was before Steve Kerr. They was like, they was already ready to take the next step. They was already right there.
Thank you, Paul. They
was already there.
Tell Brendan that, please.
We don't even know what this Brooklyn team is going to be yet. Yeah, you got the names. You got Kevin. You got Kyrie. But this team didn't have the potential Golden State had because they didn't play the game played together yet. And so I just thought maybe you should have brought somebody with a little more. I thought Ty Lue should have got an offer for this job.
That's my guy. T. Lue know the game, man.
Like, I mean, you got an experienced coach with a championship, somebody that everybody respect. And this ain't a knock on Steve Nash. And hopefully, he'll be great. But, I think that was like player control. As a matter of fact, I know that was player control.
This a KD move for sure. That's KD's
KD
guy in Golden State.
That's a KD pawn move right there. He playing chess with everybody. He just made his move right there. And so we're going to see how it all play out. So, all the pressure is going to be on him. He brought his coach in, who he wanted. He went to the team where he wanted to be. Now can he deliver without Steph and Clay? That's the questions we're going to ask.
And we're going to get you out of here quick, but I got one more analyst question to ask you. I felt like I got to bring it to you because of what you just said about Darren Williams and maybe not being ready for that step and you being a scorer as well. I want to ask you about James Harden. Do you think sometimes what happens to him in the playoffs is because he's maybe not ready for that step? And as a scorer, why do you think sometimes in the playoffs and in clutch moments, he doesn't live up to what we see in the regular season? I can't ask nobody better than you because you were a professional scorer.
That's a good question. Maybe, some people is built for that. You know what? I don't get it either. But you got to understand this. Sometimes when stuff get hard for people, they shy away. Because in the regular season, it's easy. Think about this now. It's 8 teams left in the playoffs. So you playing against probably the best 8 teams. And now it's going to be hard. You're playing against a top defense. So if you think about 30 teams in the NBA and it's really only 4 teams a year that can win it, he feasts on the other 26 teams.
Ooh.
And the other 4 teams is dogfights throughout the year. Think about it.
Facts.
You can feast on 26 teams throughout the year, build up your stats, and now in the playoffs, everything get hard.
Yep.
So now, when it get tough, man, it just you see a different light of players. You can see MVP caliber players do this. It's just when stuff get tough, people shy away from it, don't want it. And I'm not saying that's who James Harden is. But sometimes that pressure can be too much for some people. Some players care about what people think of them. I never cared.
We know that.
Go out here, win or lose. Win or lose, this is what is you gonna get. And when the shit get hard, that's just been a knock on him, man. It's really mind-boggling from a player his caliber. Just like when he gets to these moments, he melts. It's the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen, and I don't get it. I don't understand it because I've never seen this from this type of caliber player in NBA history. It has to be a mental thing, I promise you. It has to be. It has nothing to do with this game.
Hey, P, you got to give me a treat before we get out of here, dog.
It's the fun story. The fun time.
We're not to the fun story yet. We got one thing yet. You don't know about this, B. You don't know about this one.
Oh, we got a surprise? Okay.
With the Celtics, we had and I'm sure it went on before me, and probably after me, the greatest pregame ritual of all time. And you let it, P.
Which one, the dice game?
You got to talk us through this, dog. I'm going to start you off, but I need you to finish it. So we be getting ready for the game, put all our stuff on, and we'll come out. Me, B. Bass, Keon, Ray, everybody. And we doing our leg swings, getting kind of ready. You would come out later. But you knew you were going to be the last one. We used to get sped off like, dog, get off the massage table and get out. Like, you used to kick me. Paul used to kick me out. If I saw Paul walk in the room, I just got off the table. Okay? So we out there warming up. You would come out. KG's out there. Full sweat. KG, we all in the huddle. KG's over there in the full sweat. P, talk me through the pregame, dog.
I'm trying to see which one, the dice game? Or...
No, not the dice game. No. I'm talking about behind the scenes before we go out. Ticket, are you ready?
Oh, my God. Oh, you talking about the hallway. You talking about
with me, dog, the hallways, not the pregame, not even the dice game. Ticket, are you ready?
Like, man, Ticket be sitting to the side. I'll be like, let's go, big fella, let's go get it. Like, that was the Celtics, hoorah. Celtics, hoorah.
Hoorah.
We used to do the hoorah in the hallway, dog. We was getting hyped in there, boy. You see Ticket in a full sweat, you right. Oh, man, that's that last moment. That was like Gladiator. Before Gladiator ran out to go to war, that was like our little thing in the hallway where we getting everybody hyped, punching everybody in the chest, looking at everybody eye to eye. And I remember just saying sometimes, yo, put your big boy pants on today. Put your big boy pants on today. And everybody knew exactly what that meant. And then we gonna hoorah it out, and we gonna go rock, man.
P, you gotta do it for me, P. P, you gotta do it for me, dog.
P, 47.
Take me there, dog. Walk out the door.
Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Celtics, hoorah! Let's rock. That's what it was.
I had chill. You would have chills coming out, B. Listen,
Ryan,
it looked like a movie, fam.
Ryan, we would hear it. You know how small that hallway is in the garden? We would be outside the curtain. The king would hear it. We would hear it. We would hear all that. For sure, we heard all that.
For sure, man. That was good times, man.
Hey.
It was good times.
But listen, we done talked to you about your childhood. We done made you put your analyst hat on. The last one is just a fun question. We always ask everybody, what was their off the court moment where they saw another star where it's like, oh my God, like this is meeting so-and-so. Like Ryan tells a story about Prince. I got a story, man, where I got a story where Mike Tyson wanted the girl I was with at the time, scared the living daylights out of me. Hey, listen, man, I had to make a business decision. But I need to know, what was your story like that?
Man, I've never been a no superstar or nobody. Like, I don't know what it is. I ain't never asked for no autographs or no pictures. But I ain't gonna even lie. When I was my first All-Star game, when Denzel was on the sideline, he was like, "Hey, Pierce," and I looked over, like, "Is Denzel talking to me?" He said, "Hey, Pierce, come here," and I looked like, "Me?" And I was like, "What's up, Denzel?" Oh man, because he was just an iconic.
What year was that? Pete?
Just iconic black actor in our culture, and he's sitting right there, and this is my first time ever seeing him. And I was like, man, I just met Denzel, dude. I couldn't believe it, though. And I ain't never been in awe of nobody. I done seen everybody, too. But Denzel was just like that dude in all them movies, Training Day,
yeah.
My Ricochet. I mean, damn, Denzel was that guy, man. And all the girls wanted Denzel.
For sure.
What did he say to you?
He was just like, man, you look good out there, man. And I was just like, man, thanks, man. I took a picture with him right there.
Got to, man. Got to get that. Hey, you got to get that pic.
I was like, man, I met Denzel, dude. I was in awe. That's the only actor or anybody celebrity I ever been in awe of.
Well, hey, what about we all have them, big dog. We talked about Brendan's, I'd say, and when I was in the club with Prince, I swear he was glowing, dog. He walked across the club and he was glowing. And the next thing I knew, about 5 minutes later in Minnesota, all the chicks left. Everybody left the club. The VIP got real empty, and I'm like, dog, what just happened? I don't know what happened.
Where's everybody going?
Dog, I didn't get the invite. But was there
why you didn't get the invite, dog? The after party, your friends? Come on.
I didn't get the invite, dog. I wasn't in, Ticket and Chauncey had a different Minnesota. Me and Al Jefferson, okay? We were in Minnesota. Was there a club moment where you just looked around like, dog, like everybody's here like this?
Yeah, for sure. The year we won it, I was in Vegas, man. And it was like me in one section. Michael Jordan was in the next section. Ooh. And then you had Mayweather in another section. We was all in the same section. And I remember we won it all. And I bought about 7, 8 Cristal bottles, right? And Floyd, he on the table next to me. Next thing I know, 25 bottles of Chris come out. And I'm like, oh, man, you just going to show me out like that, man. Oh, man. And then they like the champ is here, and I'm thinking they talking to me, and they talking to Floyd.
Hey, that sounds like Floyd for sure. Well, hey, Pete, man, we appreciate having you on the show, man. You didn't disappoint. We appreciate you keeping it real with us and rocking out with the Opinionated 7-footers.
Hey, P, is there any we appreciate you. So is there any charities or any foundations or things you're doing outside of ESPN and television, which, P, you doing a great job because I know you being yourself out there. You being yourself, right. But anything that we can support you with or you want to shout out?
You know what? I'm going to have to get back to you on a few different organizations right now I'm in talks with. But, I just want to encourage everybody out there this year to go out there and vote. It's very important for us. Let your voice be heard this year.
All right, appreciate that.
We so opinionated, 7-footers who made it, block shots, dunked on some of the greatest. P-Town and Carolina in touch with the latest. Posting up on the topics, ain't no way you can stop this. Hollins and Haywood, post off the pivot, living life to live it. Tying suits are fitted, cash up, mash up, now we hook skidding. Stadium to the set, we the littest. And the biggest.